Today, we're going to discuss upgrades, not replacements. We're going to discuss one of the most important topics in final expense training, how to take a policy that you're looking at right now and how to review the policy and how to decide if you can put that client in a better position. That's the purpose of today's training. And I can guarantee for those of you that are here today, this is going to either remind you of something you already know, keep those sales skills sharp, or teach you something you may not already have grasped the full concept of. Either way, by being here today, you're going to make more money than everybody else. Now, side note, I'm recording today's training so that it can go up on our YouTube channel, our Loyal Life Live and Unplugged channel. I'm going to cut it before we get to the numbers and before we get to the interview. But if you would like to rewatch today's training, I'm going to pre-record it and post it to YouTube for your on-demand viewing pleasure. Welcome into Thursday, and I wanted to encourage you in our agency group chat right now and throughout the course of today, if there's any other training topics that you want training on, from final expense to annuities. I'm not going to train you on it, but I know plenty of people that could. Annuities, that is, from field to phone, from appointment setting to door knocking, old school 2015 kind of ground and pound approach. Setting appointments, we're going to cover that sometime soon. Cross-selling, we cover that this week. Recruiting. I want to make sure that more and more often, this conversation, this training, and this call that you participate in over 200 times a year is about what you want to hear. Not just something that I think that you might want to talk about, but something that you know and want to learn about. I could come up with plenty of things to say, but I want to hear what you want training on. So post it in the Slack chat or, hey, post it in the comments on YouTube, and we'll make sure to include that as a part of our regular training routine. Hey, maybe you're out in the field this week, today, next, tomorrow, yesterday, and you hit some kind of a roadblock, some kind of an objection, some kind of a situation, and you just didn't know what to do. Guess what? We're all human, and that absolutely happens. So if you're out there at some point in time and say, man, I just had this thing happen and I didn't know what to do, what's the second thing you should do? Go into the Slack chat, post it in there right now when that happens, what happened, so that we can turn it into a training topic. Because guess what? If it's something that you want training on, it's something that somebody else needs training on and doesn't know it, or it's something that somebody else wants training on, but just doesn't have the confidence to speak up and say it. So today we're going to cover upgrades, which has been requested by one of our own agents, Chandler, who hopefully is here with us today out in the Nevada area. First, I want to celebrate his efforts and his application yesterday. Getting started isn't easy, but nothing about making a lot of money is, right? Getting on a call like we are right now when it's 6 a.m. local time isn't easy. But guess what? Doing the things that aren't easy make you even better. Chandler's working our free lead program here at Loyal and is working to that 100 presentation mark as quick as possible. As many of you know, it's a race in the very beginning to give those 100 presentations as quickly as possible. To be mentally strong and financially motivated to run headlong into the situations you haven't quite seen yet. So his request today about replacement training or upgrade training, absolutely, we're going to cover together. So let's do that. Let's talk about replacements. And if you know someone that needs to dial in today or needs to have this video shared with them, let them know. Invite them onto the call today. Send this video out to them tomorrow. This is the kind of training that makes you more money. So let's talk about it. Replacements. The first thing that comes to mind is your word choice. Not using the word replacement, right? Kind of ironic. We're talking about replacement training. No, we're talking about upgrade training. Replacement is an industry term, is a legal term, just like carrier, that makes sense to us, but is not consumer friendly. If we're moving somebody from one policy to another, we for darn sure better be upgrading their situation. You better not ever take somebody from full first day coverage and put them into a modified plan and leave them with no insurance for months and years after you were there. Unethical, don't ever do it. Obviously, then, we're not really just replacing someone's policy. We are always and every single time upgrading their situation. If you remember, for those of you in the state of New Jersey, the old New Jersey replacement plan, you had to write on the application the reason for the replacement. better benefits, lower price. We all know what to put, but there has to be a tangible, documented reason for the replacement, the upgrade. You can also, as we talk about this in the very beginning here, look at your word choice when it comes to things like transition. You're transitioning from one policy to the next, right? You're not just simply dropping something and starting another all over again. That wouldn't make any sense at all. Or maybe you're taking a couple different policies and you're bundling them together. It's an old Holden Hassel term. I didn't take that one. I created the word upgrade, but I stole the word bundle. If he ever watches that video or listens to this training. When you're taking multiple policies together, bundling. Remember, when we're talking about word choice, it's important to understand from the consumer's perspective that nobody ever wants their things replaced. Doesn't sound good. Nobody wants something that they paid for and put money into and picked out just replaced. But they absolutely want it upgraded. I went to the Christiana Mall yesterday and had dinner at the new P.F. Chang's. Used to be a Panera Bread. Now, I love Panera Bread. Panera Bread closed. The location was vacant for probably 2 years. And then they upgraded the location with a new P.F. Chang's restaurant. I don't want my Panera Bread replaced, but I would absolutely love my dining experience upgraded. Nobody ever wants to think that they've purchased an inferior product, either direct to consumer or from a captive one-trick agent. No senior wants to ever think that they've had their money wasted or they lost out in what they purchased, but every single consumer wants something better. Second on the list of what to talk about today when we talk about upgrading a policy, and again, if there's training that you want, let me know, like today, and we will absolutely cover it way more than just something I think you want to hear. I want to know what you want to hear. Second, you must do a policy review every time you're sitting with a potential client who has insurance already. Let me repeat that in case you missed it. Thou shalt do a policy review every single time you're with somebody who already has a policy. Why? Why do I have to do that? Well, I'll tell you exactly why you have to do that. Because if they're not going to allow you to review their existing coverage, are they going to really ever give you their social, their bank account, their beneficiary, their medical history? I don't think so, and I've never taught that, and I've never believed it. One of the best ways to build trust in a presentation is to demonstrate professionalism, confidence, and knowledge. By going over their existing policy, you're doing exactly that. You're building trust. You're putting a slight slowdown to the sales process. You're uncovering many of the real problems that they didn't know that they had, that you know you're going to find if you look for them. And it allows you to make a professional, educated recommendation. Now, think of it this way. If you were to go see a lawyer, you were to go see a doctor, you were to go see an accountant, some other highly skilled, highly paid professional similar to you, and they didn't do any of the review about your pre-existing something, would you have any confidence in what they're going to tell you to do next? I absolutely wouldn't. You went into the doctor's office and the first thing that they did was sit in a chair, pull out their computer, and fill out a prescription for you. Why? What are you giving this to me for? You haven't even asked me a single question. You have to do a policy review before you're going to recommend any other coverage. Come on. A lawyer doesn't just walk into court with you the moment they meet. They do a review of your situation. An accountant doesn't just blindly submit income statements to the IRS, just the same way that you need to review what they currently have. Let's put it another way. Skipping this step is lazy work. We all do it from time to time. We all can get lazy. We're a human being. Nobody here today or watching in the future is a robot. I get that. But you're skipping this step and you're committing lazy work, which is probably a form of negligence too. I mean, we're professionally licensed, right? I don't mean to get too serious at 9:09 in the morning, but I do intend to be a little serious about understanding the importance of reviewing what they have. I've seen plenty of cases before, and I know you guys have as well, where agents just simply added on coverage. They didn't do a policy review. They didn't look at what Mabel or Miss Johnson already had. And she had a collapsing UL, a term that was going to end next year, a guaranteed issue policy that wasn't covering her for anything. an accident only coverage. You've seen these situations before. Don't be that agent. Be better than that and do better for your clients. Simply just adding on and not looking is lazy work. Plus, like I already said, you have to build trust and build confidence to be able to build your way into a buying decision. Third, you need to make sure that you're looking for the most common situations that you're going to uncover. You're never going to find something if you don't know what to look for. Obviously, what are you looking for? Lower price. Can I beat the rate and get them a lower price? People love to save money. Common sense. Second, can I get them more coverage for what they're currently paying? People will love to have more insurance for the same price they've already committed to and got used to paying. Is this a term to whole life situation? Pretty straightforward. Write it down, go over the rate increases, call me from the home. Is this a guaranteed issue or modified plan that you're moving them into full first day coverage? Is this a collapsing universal life policy? Whatever it is, those are the most common situations you're going to encounter. Gather the information, and if you aren't sure what to do, call for help. If you're looking to beat the rate, we've got plenty of competitive products, and you know what they are. Mutual of Omaha, their Living Promise or their IUL, Life Shield, Royal Arcanum's Whole Life. There's plenty more. Even yesterday, let me give you another example of a semi-average price product, but is still ultra competitive in underwriting. I had a client with a direct-to-consumer Omaha plan, and they purchased another modified plan from a captive agent over the phone. With Baltimore Life, I could bundle those two plans together, get her an additional $5,000 in coverage at $5 a month less. Preferred rate coverage with both COPD and neuropathy. Incredible. You don't always need to be the cheapest every single time. And you know I've said that and preached that before, but you do need to know when to pull out an ultra liberal underwriting product or a ultra price competitive product to kind of win in those situations. Fourth, how do you present this to your potential client? This might sound familiar to some of you or brand new to others. When you finally got down to the close, it's called a blind taste test close, and I captured that term. I coined it. If somebody else uses it, I hope it makes you money. What is the blind taste test close? Once you have all the information necessary, once you've determined by calling for help or based on experience what you need to do, you grab a clean sheet of paper. A simple legal pad will suffice. I don't exactly know how this would work over the phone. I trust some of you telesales folks to train on that at a later date. But in person, eye to eye and belly to belly, I always thought that sounded gross when people said it, but you know what they mean. At the kitchen table, in the living room, you're in that moment where you're about to present the opportunity for them to get an upgraded policy. Clean sheet of paper. At the top of that paper, their existing face amount at the top left corner. The price I'm sorry. The current face amount they already have on the top left and the lower price they could get with a better plan on the right. In the middle of that piece of paper, the higher face amount that they could get at the same price that they're used to spending. And at the bottom of that piece of paper, the plan they currently have, which the face amount and the rate. So you've got a lower price at the top, more coverage in the middle, and the existing plan at the bottom. But that's it. It's just the numbers. It's nothing more than that. And you're going to say to them, Chandler, I'm going to go over these three options with you. I mean, this is really exciting. I'm happy to show this to you today. I just want you to take a quick moment, look this over, and tell me which one of these three make the most sense to you. And guess what? You know, they're never going to pick what they currently have. Surprise! You've just walked your way and went upgrade as the most non-confrontational way possible. You can't make this confrontational. You can't make it yours is better than theirs, or theirs is bad and yours is good, or this company over that company, or that name versus this name. It's just the numbers. You can't trash talk what they currently have, and you can't make them feel bad about what they previously purchased. I've seen, and I'm sure you have as well, because we've got some of the most experienced people in the industry listening in and maybe watching in the future. But you'll see it if you're a new agent as well. Some of the worst policies you've ever seen printed on a piece of paper and presented to you in that client's home. 4-year waiting periods, decreasing term policies with increasing rates on plans that should be illegal. What insurance commissioner probably approved this rate? This is criminal. It even works with MA plans when you're comparing. This even works with Medicare supplement. That's a rate versus rate comparison on a standardized product. But even in a Medicare Advantage situation, I've seen some of the worst god awful MA plans possible with premiums that made absolutely no sense, of deductibles that were gross, co-pays that were criminal, and no extra benefits to justify any of this. Pure junk, honestly. But you can't make them feel that way. You can't make them feel like they've made a poor decision, a bad buying decision, because guess what happens? The moment you create sales resistance, they don't want to buy from you. The moment you make them feel bad about what they already did, they're not going to do it again. The people that we sit with and sell in final expense already suffer from permanent procrastination and decision-making resistance. If you make them feel bad about a decision they've already made, guess what happens? The smoke screens just billow into the presentation, and they have to talk to their friend, their sister, their brother, their cousin, their uncle, their priest, their pastor, and they don't want the common sense presentation you just made. Man, I can beat the rate of the senior life policy by $20. I can get them 10,000 more coverage, and now they're telling me they have to pray to Buddha about it. Well, guess what just happened? You made them feel bad about what they did, and they don't want to do it again. Can't make it confrontational. Also, I know we're going a little bit long on the training today, but hopefully you're taking something away from it. You have to make them understand that you're going to do everything for them, that you're going to take care of stopping the payment, getting them the cash value back. The policy is going to come in the mail. Chandler, I'm going to take care of all of the transition for you because you don't have to do anything at all. Because guess what? Your potential client doesn't want to do anything at all. They suffer from permanent procrastination because they don't like to make decisions, because they don't like to do anything. And if it sounds like they have to do something, they're not going to want to. Lastly, before we get into the numbers, I pause the training recording and we go just exclusively on Free Conference Call HD. This skill takes time, just like any skill in life. Not going to be good at it right away. In fact, you're going to suck at it. You're going to miss opportunities that in 6 months or in a year, you're going to close without any resistance. It's going to take patience. You're going to suck, but then all of a sudden you're going to be a pro. And when you master this skill set, understanding how to upgrade a policy, you're going to sell 40% more insurance than every other licensed agent with a carrier contract out there. So I am going to pause the recording.